This is day
Hello.
7. This is David. But this is day
And David.
73 running for peace and war orphans, and we have two firsts today. Well, first that I know of. It actually has already happened, but this is the first MAGA person running for peace and war orphans. And you know, like, war orphans is not a political thing. Like, we're running for peace. It means everyone's coming together to care about orphans on both sides, and war makes orphans. The second thing is this family is the only really other family I know, including the camera girl, who have actually lived in a war zone. And they were missionaries, and they were in a nation that was at war, and we're in danger of even dying. And you know, like, I experienced that for 3 months. They were there for 9 months, and
in Africa.
in Africa. Yeah. So I'm like really proud of David for running tonight. So do you have anything?
Yeah, we lived in Sierra Leone and Liberia, and on Christmas Eve we were at a hospital. I just had our baby, our fourth-born baby, firstborn son, Kelsey. They called him Shoko Loco Bangoche.
Oh my gosh.
But we went to sleep Christmas Eve with the word on the street that the rebels were going to take over the country, and we were there that night, and so we were afraid for our lives.
Wow.
But you know, we felt like, when do they need us more than when they're in war? And that's what I respect about you, just going over to Ukraine, and bombs were dropping at any time. She could have been snuffed out, us too. But you know, our missions organization we were with, Living with Missions, Russ Tatro, said they need you the most during the hardest times, and many other missionaries fled the country. They said, no, we're going right into the center of war, and we're going to support those people. They were scared, they were terrified. So we really put our lives out there for Christ too. But I think that's really awesome that you did that. And you know, we're just thinking about those Ukrainian kids. Certainly not their fault. It doesn't know about MAGA or Democrats. It's their lives. They're people whose lives are hurting, lost their parents, they're orphans. And so I love what you're doing here, because you know, I have 8 children, and I raised them all myself in different nations of the world. We went some to Africa, Asia, Mexico, China. We went down to South America. We sent them at 8 years old to Belize and Honduras, and lived in Mexico. So our family has been raised so much on the mission field. My wife's parents were in Spain for 20 years, started all the Bible churches there. So she came from missions, and my first experience in missions was Africa when I was 30 years old. I brought our 3 children over there, and we were there for 9 months in Sierra Leone for 6 months, and then 3 months in Liberia. And there was wars. The very house that we were in was ransacked before we got there, and so they got the house back, and when we left, they ransacked the house again. So I always say this: you're safest in the will of God.
That's true.
Because wherever you're at, God will protect you. So if you ever feel like going overseas, don't be afraid, because bombs can drop right by you and they won't hit you. They won't come down your dwelling place.
Just know the Lord has called you.
If the Lord's called you there, He's called you to that place. It's the safest place in the world. Right directly in the center, could be in the middle of bombs dropping. But here I am, safe.
Say a little of your heart also about like orphans and just those kids that have lost their parents in war. And
I can only imagine the terror and fear. And you were just telling me about how the kids would just look into you like, what do we do? What do we do? You know, it just breaks my heart to see this condition all around the world. And I just thank God for Jesus, because He gives us love for people. He gives us desire to help and to fund. And I'm always amazed at how many Americans just jump in and give money for the organizations and go themselves. We're the most giving nation in the world. I've been a giver to missions for years and years, a giver and a goer. So if you ever feel like you need to go somewhere overseas, don't let fear make the decision. Just do it.
Right.
Just
Or adopt. Don't
yeah.
be afraid to adopt. So foster kids in America, overseas. There's kids everywhere. They just need parents, and So I also wanted to say the same thing. Like, there's a lot of fear even in Ukraine about going to the front lines of Ukraine, and the only organization that I could find that I could join that was going there was Haster Hoffnung, and they worked a lot rescuing orphanages.
Wow, that's great.
I just think like they're an incredible organization. Even now, if you're looking for someone to support for the war, that's who I worked with there, and I got to see firsthand how willing they were to sacrifice even their lives of the whole team to save women and children. And we're gonna run. This is what we can do today, is to, you know,
keep them in our hearts.
Camille, who's got the camera, even said, like, no one will ever
my
forget.
daughter right there.
That's right. No one will ever forget that they ran for orphans, because, like, who does that? And that's what awareness is about. You do. That's what awareness is.
She's roping me into this thing. She's getting me in the track.
Yeah, that's what I hope for people, is that, you know, if it gets brought to their attention, that they'll never forget it, and it will just mark people's lives that, you know, Jesus came to us when we were orphans, and
Amen.
we go to orphans because we've been loved so much by God, and, you know, that's what this is about. So we're running.
Ukraine, we love you.
Okay,
Yes.
Dad, I want you to put your heart, Dad, I want you to run faster than her. Try, Dad, go. Give it your all, Dad. Oh, Dad will take it easy a lot of times, so I don't want him to do that right now. Woo, guys.
We knocked it out.
Thanks, you guys rock. Congratulations.
Now I'm all
I wanted
tired.
Dad to push himself. That's what I was saying. Good job. Oh, good job,
Awesome.
guys. You're
Thank
right.
you guys.
Praise
I'm
the Lord.
tired.
Good. Let's go again. Okay. See ya. Bye.
Bye.